Hey, you know what's better than cute fluffy animals? Cute fluffy animals in freaking power armour! In this video, I'll be looking over the introduction of another semi-main character in the series, Shortfuse the Cybernik. When we first see Shortfuse, he's nothing more than an ordinary squirrel named Shorty, who has a short temper and lives in the Emerald Hill Zone. He's arguing with another resident of the zone, who is sympathetic to Robotnik's cause. Shorty's friend has to pull him away before the situation gets out of control. But even as he is being led away, he continues to shout about how he can't stand someone who thinks Robotnik is a decent person. Though I'm sure his opinion is about to change, as one of Robotnik's trooper ships enters the area, threatening to capture everyone so they can all be turned into badniks. The bird who likes Robotnik tries to convince the troopers that he is on the dictator's side, hoping to be spared. The troopers have their orders, however. They grab the bird and toss him into the ship, saying that his love for Robotnik will help to make him an even better badnik. The troopers continue rounding up the citizens, but Shorty is too slippery for them. He is able to dash around and make his escape. His friends look on and tell him to run, and all the squirrel can do is stand there, hidden, watching as all of his friends are led away one by one into the ship, trying desperately to think of a way to save them. He has no plan, so his only option is to improvise. Once everyone is on board, he comes out of hiding and climbs onto the ship, sneaking aboard as it begins to take off. A while later, the ship touches down outside of one of Robotnik's badnik processing facilities. All of the prisoners are led off and forced into the building. Shorty peeks out from his hiding spot and watches the whole thing, still unsure what he can do to rescue everyone. It seems his only option is still to improvise and hope to find something which can help along the way. Once the prisoners are inside the facility, we see that Robotnik and his chief scientist Grimer are overseeing the badnik conversion process themselves. The Emerald Hill folk are rendered unconscious and forced into the metal shell of the badniks, where they will act as a living battery for the machines. As they finish the process, Shorty jumps out of a nearby vent. He doesn't have much time left to save everyone, so he did the only thing he could think of. He destroys the consoles which take care of the conversion process. He snatches the device from Grimer's hand and slams it onto the console, utterly trashing it. Robotnik doesn't seem to care. He simply laughs at the futile attempt to save everyone, saying that once the process has started, it cannot be stopped. And when we next see the badniks, it would seem he was right. The badniks are now complete, and worse still, Shorty has been captured by one of the trooper guards. Shorty tries to lash out, but he can do nothing while he is being held in the trooper's tight grip. Both he and Robotnik share insults. Shorty is defiant to the end, as he refuses to suffer the same fate as his friends. But then, Robotnik reveals that he has something a little different in store for him. He steps aside to reveal a new type of badnik, a cybernik, made from a new type of super tough metal, which should be strong enough to stand up against anything that Sonic can throw at it. They waste no time in stuffing the poor squirrel into the metal casing, and Robotnik can't resist taunting him more as he is connected to the circuitry. He reveals that once connected to the badnik, he will never be able to break free, and with the badnik programming brainwashing him, he won't even want to. He will be nothing more than an obedient slave, living for no reason other than to serve his new master. Shorty still tries to struggle and protest. He refuses to accept the brainwashing will affect him. But, as the final part of the helmet is lowered into place, the brainwashing process begins. Of course, with Shorty's stubborn nature, he tries to fight it, using every ounce of energy he can muster to resist. But soon enough, it's over. Shorty settles down and stands there. Once Robotnik is satisfied the process is complete, he orders Grimer to release the new Cybernik. He reveals that the squirrel and the armour are now inseparable, and if all goes well, it will be the first step in building an entire army of these machines. There is one final test though. Robotnik orders the robot to demonstrate its power to him, and without skipping a beat, the Cybernik raises its arm and fires a powerful energy blast at a nearby trooper, obliterating it with a single shot. Robotnik is impressed and decides to give the Cybernik a mission right away. To test its loyalty, the Cybernik is to take the badniks who were once Shorty's friends back to the Emerald Hill Zone, but this time he doesn't want to bring back more prisoners. His orders are to kill everyone who still lives there. The Cybernik simply obeys and immediately sets off to wipe out the rest of the Emerald Hill folk. The scene then shifts to the Emerald Hill Zone, where the remaining animals are sat around, depressed after losing so many of their friends and family, with a small few feeling lucky to have gotten away. Though their emotions soon turn to sheer terror as another swarm of badniks is seen swooping in for another attack, led by the newly created Cybernik. The badniks speed in, ready to eliminate anything still living which catches their eyes. But then, seemingly out of nowhere, the badniks are hit with a powerful blast, which destroys them and releases the captured animals. Everyone is confused. They look around to find where the blast came from. Their eyes eventually settle on the Cybernik, floating in the air with a trail of steam coming from its freshly fired blaster. The people on the ground ask what's going on, and the Cybernik explains that the damage he caused to the badnik processing computer, combined with his own stubborn attitude, were enough to leave his mind free and unaltered. All this time, he has only been pretending to be under Robotnik's control. This allowed him to bring his captured friends back to their home, where he would be able to safely set them free. One of the freed prisoners recognises the voice coming from the Cybernik as his friend Shorty, but the two don't have any time to talk, as they realise when Robotnik finds out what happened, he will come and take care of the situation. He will obviously punish the Cybernik for betraying him, and most likely wipe out the Emerald Hill folk himself. And they are correct, as next we see Grimer breaking the bad news to Robotnik, who then flies into a blind rage. He storms off and hops into one of his personal attack vehicles, then speeds off to take care of his little problem. Back in the Emerald Hill Zone, Shorty is talking with his friend Hopper, who is hoping to find a way to free him from the armour. But Shorty lets him know that he is sealed inside for good. Due to the ultra-strong metal, there is no way to break it open like a regular badnik. But Shorty decides he is going to use his new armour and weaponry against Robotnik, to fight back against the one who did this to him. But then, their conversation is cut short, as Robotnik appears seemingly out of nowhere and begins firing at them. Luckily, they are able to jump out of the way in time and avoid being hit. Shorty flies up into the air and calls Hopper, telling him to get away. Shorty flies swiftly around Robotnik, easily avoiding every blast that's fired at him. But soon enough, Shorty fires back with a blast of his own, destroying the gun on the side of Robotnik's pod. It's now that Shorty decides to attack with all he's got. He flies up close and grabs the pod, before easily tearing off a huge chunk of the metal plating. It seems like Shorty is winning the fight, but Robotnik reveals he still has the upper hand. He presses a button, and all of a sudden, Shorty's armour starts to lock up and lose power. He falls back to the ground, where he can do nothing but lay there, looking up while Robotnik orders him to beg for mercy. Of course, Shorty, being the stubborn person that he is, tells Robotnik that he will do nothing of the sort. But before Robotnik can make his next move, his pod is hit by a familiar looking blue blur, causing him to drop the remote which paralysed the Cybernik. Sonic has returned to the Emerald Hill Zone. Shorty says that it's an honour to meet the hero of Mobius, but there is no time for introductions as they have to take care of Robotnik first. Sonic dashes off and hits Robotnik with another spin attack while Shorty struggles to crawl across the ground to the remote control. He eventually reaches it and still has enough strength left to crush it, allowing him to regain control of the armour. Robotnik's fight with Sonic is too much for him, and the Dictator is soon fleeing the area, knowing that his best option now is to retreat and come up with a new plan of action. Though, it is strange that Sonic allows him to escape, rather than chasing after him while he's in a weakened state. This could be Sonic's best chance to capture and stop his enemy. But anyway, a while after the battle is over, we see Sonic, Shorty and the other freedom fighters gathered in the area. Sonic suggests that Shorty joins their group. After all, he would be a powerful ally in the fight against Robotnik. Unfortunately though, Shorty declines the offer, saying he would prefer to continue the fight on his own. Robotnik made him what he is, so the fight is more personal to him. He is going to use his newfound power to fight back against Robotnik in his own way. Sonic agrees to this and lets him go. But just as Shorty is about to leave, his friend Hopper comes running up, telling him that he can't just leave, after all, this is his home. Shorty reassures Hopper that he'll be alright, and that this is something that he has to do. He is committed to fighting for justice, in the hopes that the people of Mobius can one day be free. Hopper is sad that his friend is leaving, but he accepts the decision too. As Shorty flies away, he calls out to everyone, stating that from now on he will be known as Shortfuse the Cybernik, a new hero to the people and a new threat to Robotnik.